are so excited to have you. This feels like the coolest room to be in right now, if I have to say so myself. So my name is Neil Totten. I am a manager of professional development down at the Actors Studio Drama School at Pace University, and along with my co-facilitators, who you will meet just shortly, we invite everyone to stand up where you are, leave all things on the sides, and we're gonna just start to move and groove. I'm gonna put on a tune. And I'm going to invite you. You can spread out in the room. This is like a club, so we're going to get very mosh pit style. So if you get shy, you need to take some space out in the hall, do that. So what I want you to do right now is just listen to this music and allow whatever this music is doing for you to just sort of move through your body. Do whatever you need. I will be moving as well. If you need someone to mimic and mirror, if you're like, I don't know what to do with my body, then you can feel free to follow along with me. But otherwise, just move and do what your body needs in this moment right now, okay? All right, so again, I won't be like, oh my God, everybody's copying me. Like, I will not be mad if that is what you need as a sort of a guide to sort of get you into your body, but this is really about you getting into your body in this moment, in this time, on this day, in this place, in this now. And as you're doing that, then start to just breathe into your body, listen to your body. Is there tension? Is there anxiety? Is there joy? Whatever it is, just breathe into it. If you want to close your eyes, I invite you to do that. If you want to keep them open and see what's happening around you, I invite you to do that as well. Just keep that going.
Right, I hope you're feeling proud of being here in person, not like those lazy people at home. Yes, sharing this beautiful time with your community. And we have a few prompts, so we can get started with this, warm up. And the first one is, today I feel. So how do you feel today? What does that look like in your body? Not like it's elections day or anything, right? But how does that feel? What does that look like in your body? How would you feel that in your body? Yes, look at that. I see a little tension, right? I see that, very good. However, on another note, we see our prompt number 2. It says, today I hope. What do you hope today? What do you hope today? What are the hopes? What are the things that you wish happened? What does that look like in your body? Yes? Yes. I love the positivity. I love the hope. I love that. That is fantastic. Very good.
All right, so now I put on a new song. Now we're gonna let this song get into you. So what does it feel like now to own and stand in your power? What does that look like? What is it physicalized to? We invite you right now to give yourself that opportunity to step into your own power. If that means moving somewhere else in the room, feel free to do that. This is your moment to empower yourselves and take up that space. And again, if you need a guide, I will gladly give you something to mimic. There you go. Come on in. There you go, Kel.
I have no skills. Oh no, this is all skill. I see 100 skills.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning. I'm Kelly. Very nice to meet you. I'm Kelly Gillis. I'm a high school teacher. And I was really excited about this today because I did a thing that you don't normally do at 55, which is I changed schools. And it's a weird experience, right? Like, it's fabulous. I'm really happy to be where I am, and yet I'm the new kid on the block in a school that never had a theater program before. And which is exciting, right? Because I get to build it, but at the same time, they've never had a theater program before. So I'm like the weird lady in the room with no chairs, and they're like, you know, and I kind of forgotten that look. I didn't have my people behind me like, Gillis, what's up? No, none of that. And so I had to really revisit things that I hadn't done in a while. And I had to revisit my comfort zone and help make it a comfortable space for them when they hadn't done any of these things before. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Like, how do you do that, right? Because sometimes, even if you're in a school you've been in, you get that class, and it's like you're new all over again, and that you never built anything to begin with, and maybe you feel like you don't know what you're doing. That was my third period last year. So we're going to talk about just some things that you can do that may work, and then we're going to ask you to tell us what's working for you so you can share it, because we need each other, and we need each other's skill sets, right? So one of the things I do is what we did when you walked in. I always have music playing. And I have a playlist so that kids can come and write their playlist. I learned the hard way, always ask for the radio version, and if you're in doubt, don't play it until you listen to it. But that sets the tone for your room, right? And it makes it personal for your kids. So Helio, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Thank you. And my name is Helio, and I've been teaching multilingual learners for 15 years in the theater classroom. And I developed a program to do language acquisition and theater. Very good. I'm in Queens, in Jackson Heights area, Pan American International High School.
So we're going to,
I did.
You did already, right? At the top. Very good.
So we're going to move to the next thing, which is just kind of assessment, which is what I've been doing all year. Like, what works? Was that organized? How could I do that better, kind of thing. So we're going to pass out some Post-its to you, and I'm going to give you some prompts, which are also on the board over there.
If you need a pen, take one.
Thank you. Do you want me to do that?
Yes. I know.
That would be awesome. Yes. Thank you.
Are all these for me, or I'm handing this out?
Oh, that's for you.
Oh,
I nailed it. I'm killing
Hi, how are you? Good.
Do you have a pen? Do you have Post-its?
All right. All right, everyone have pens and Post-its. Fab.
So we're going to do some prompts, something I just used with you, something I use with my class. Because let's face it, there are 35 of them, they're teenagers, they're going to win. So I just wave at them. And they get it, right? And I'm like, thank you, I feel seen by you. And they'll start doing the work for you, and then the room just calms, and it becomes quiet forever, how long that lasts for. But that's one of the tools that I use. It also keeps my blood pressure down. So, a management or a ritual that I do that's working for me is, can you take a moment just to write that down, and then we're going to share out with each other. Yes. A management tool and ritual or that works for me is second is a ritual or management tool that's not working for me at all. It's something that's just not working right now. And maybe it worked last year, or maybe it worked 7, but something that's just not as effective as it used to be. have those two. If you're still writing them, that's fine. For those of you who are ready for number 3. I struggle with this in my management rituals. Where's the place you pick up? I struggle with this in my management ritual. So somewhere that's kind of like I pick up for you, right?
Are these on different post-its?
Yeah. Are they on the same post-it or?
You can put them on the same post-it.
If you need multiple post-its, we ideally.
I have here more
yes.
if you need more.
I just wasn't sure what you were.
Yeah, you can do it anywhere. Either way. Number 4, I wish I had a management tool to help me with, right?
Absolutely.
Number 5, I realize I tend to really be reactive with, what is that thing that just gets you from like 0 to 160? Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Post-it.
Number 5 is, I realize I tend to be reactive when. What is that thing that a kid can do and you just go,
And in case you need to sort of go back, the prompts are up here as well. For the visuals, yeah.
Helio?
Oh. I wish I had a tool for all.
Does anyone need any of those repeated or would like any of them repeated? Number 4, I wish I had a management tool to help me with. A few more people writing, so we'll just give it a few more seconds. And as we're talking about this, I just want to throw this out in the room. We talk about management a lot, but kids come as they are, where they are. And growth takes time, right? So this is about helping the growth process, not about you don't know how to manage a classroom, and I feel like teachers hear that sometimes. So this is really, how do we facilitate that process, right? Because the kids are going to be where they are until they're ready to be somewhere else, which they will be with you. And it's only November. So let's keep that in mind. So can I get everybody standing?
With your post-it.
With your post-it. And we're going to put on some music. We're just going to ask you to walk around and wait for directions. So we're going to start that now. Here we go. Use the whole space to start walking. And you're walking. And wherever you are, stop. Turn to one person closest to you. And share your response to number 1. On your mark, get set, go.
Which number 1 was the management tool that
It's really not that
I didn't hear that.
Raise your hand, look at your partner, and sing bye-bye. Bye-bye. And we're going on to the next round.
We're walking in a circle of doom that we tell our kids not to
There you
do.
are. Please form a group of three people closest to you. Group of three. He's just committed. I like it. What? And all right. Awesome. Can you now, with your partners, I'm going to give you just a little bit more time, share your responses. We cool? Cool. Number two. On your marks, get set.
A management tool that is not working is prompt number 2. A management tool that is not.
So they want to be there.
Clap twice. If it's not working, sorry, it's not. No, I do like it. Clap once, say something close. And that's not working. It's just, you just don't want to clap sometimes. How cool is that? To make them pay attention to one thing. But with that said, it's doing no posters and it's not, they don't want to be there. So getting
Similar to yours, it's kind of like partner work. Sometimes that doesn't work. Working with each other. It's hard to pick
Breaks still be in there for senior photos, and we're doing and I only have it for tech theater class because I'm D75, so we're in little share. And they're like, but it wasn't a problem last year. I want to be like, last year we were doing sewing, we're doing lighting. You want us to turn off the lights on it? Like, so we had to rearrange the whole curriculum for what can we do with the lights on 2.5 hours. I'm in there 2 minutes.
Well, that's the thing is, I had a similar issue with administration from another school, and I feel very professional and kind of about it.
What I'm going to ask is each of groups, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to decide, have one person share out what they shared with your group, right? Or if there was a common theme, like all of us said something along the lines of this. So, a classroom management tool that does not seem to be working. We're going to give you 30 seconds. One of you will share out for your group. Just one person from each group, and your 30 seconds starts now.
I feel like we all.
share. So can I start with you?
Sure. Our group had a common theme. It was one I shared, but that we all shared together, which was room or space consistency, which is sort of an inherent one, sometimes unavoidable, but can you find a way to make the space as consistent as possible within the constraints of your school?
Yes. Yes.
We were just sharing that we teach classes where it's not the students haven't chosen to be there. And they're put there, it's their arts credit, and some really don't want to be there, and that creates
How do you manage
behavior.
that?
Yeah.
Yes. I hear you there.
We're talking about peer feedback protocols and the same kids over and over again being the ones who are really happy to talk, and the same kids over and again not having anything to contribute and balancing.
Yeah, that's really important. Yes.
Ours are all kind of volume related, like waiting silently for them to stop or talking quietly so they have to lean in, shushing or being really loud. None of those seem to work.
Yes. We talked about cell phone usage, and like something that I do as a teacher is like, okay, if you're on your cell phone all the time, I'm making notes, and then you get a 0 for your participation grade. I don't care, I'll take the 0. Call a parent, and they're like, I'll talk to them, and then they talk to them for a day, their phone's away for a day, and we go back to it, so.
Yeah.
Cell phone is my worst enemy.
Try screaming
All
like
of
you've
us
just
have-
seen a large mouse when anyone takes it out. Or drop the phone. Seriously, I'm not joking. I'm like, oh my god, I thought I saw a cell phone. That was so scary.
That's funny.
We also talked about cell phones, so I'll talk about something else. Grouping, like when you're, or when kids are working in, like on scenes in different parts of the room, and you've done such a good job of like putting them not with their friends that they're gonna chat with, but then all of a sudden they find each other.
Yeah.
And they're on the other side of the room, like, how did you get there?
We had kind of different things, but one sort of common thread was like getting and keeping attention, particularly with older students or with students who like are like, it's more fun honestly to just do this.
Yeah.
So we talked about a lot of the things you did to add that. We talked about our own self-management. So managing my own time, or like our own time at the end of class. Like, do you keep the kids working and engaging in what they're doing, or do you cut that short so that you can end with your routines and your rituals or whatever, and how that affects the class? And
that would be mine. Time is not. I'm not good at it. Yes.
We talked about focus during whole group discussion. And using like a one mic policy, which is more challenging than maybe in the past, the students not recognizing like, if I respect you when you speak, you could respect this student when they speak, and there seems to be a breakdown there in explaining that and using one mic.
Yeah.
We talked about a similar issue, that I have a really strong warm-up opening ritual, but I've been trying to be more rigorous about a cool-down ritual, and as the year has progressed, it is falling apart. And like you just get rushed at the end, and how do you have that, how do you have time for that reflection question to have them understand like the reason we're doing this is all of these important things, instead of just being like, okay, bye.
Yeah. You'll wrap it up for us, so yes.
Trash. Got it. All right, I've been sacrificed for this. So, I shared with my group about a management tool that I abandoned, and that was like waiting out the storm. Just like, I'll wait for you guys to finish, and they never finished.
So we were discussing how parent outreach sometimes is a very ineffective strategy. Our admins ask us like, oh, do parent outreach, but often the students who are struggling the most, the parent outreach is maybe the least effective strategy, because the unfortunate part of this is that maybe the parents aren't as involved in their child's education. So it's like, it's a strategy that is told to us often by administrators, but it's not always, we know as teachers, that is maybe one of the lesser effective strategies, sadly.
Really nice. We're going to move to another one, but something just as food for thought to think about is sometimes we're told there's this one way to do it, right? There isn't. And they're telling you what they need, right? And I started thinking a lot about this phrase, I need you to do this. And then I was like, but do I really need you to do that? I don't think I do. And I don't need you to sit still, you can stand if you want to. right? Because you're that class. You need to move around, so let's just build that in, right? And maybe the reflection happens at the beginning, and you bring it back the next day. Like, here's why we're doing this. We'll probably run out of time because that's who I am, but we'll go back to it tomorrow. So food for thought, because they're telling you what they need, and you're really good at listening to them. And you know, right? So use the thing that's bad and see if you can flip it on its head. We have 2 more, I think?
3.
We have 3 more. So we're gonna
But we can
condense them.
condense.
We're gonna condense them. So we are going to do, I think we're just going to do these 2 together. You know?
Yeah, because, yes.
Yeah.
Because then this can go, because this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
For the big one.
Yeah. So we're going to combine 4 and 5 together, which is, I wish I had a tool to help me with, because I realize I tend to be reactive when, right? I wish I had a tool for this. Same group? No, I'm going to split you up again, so raise your right hand and say bye-bye, and start walking.
Yes, early in the morning.
And stop. Please form groups of 4.
4 to 5.
4 to 5. 4 to 5. All right.
Okay, in your groups of 4, you are going to discuss these 2 prompts. I struggle with, and I wish I had a tool that helped me with. And in your groups, you're going to sort of meld and kind of come up with a group consensus of like where everyone is landing with those. So they don't necessarily have to be like 3 and 4. You can kind of consolidate your answers for sake of time. So I struggled with, and I wish I had a tool that helped me with. And it is okay if that tool is still in question, because we're going to work on that next.
And I'm just going to add to that because I asked them to do the reactive part.
Oh, sorry. Oops.
No, we're good because they actually all go together, right? Usually the tool I need to help with is to keep me from being reactive over the thing I'm reactive to, right? Because that's when I lose all of my good teacher moments. So think about something that makes you reactive, right? And a management tool that could help you with that, what you wish could help you with that. And on your marks, get set, go, and take.
What happened yesterday?
I think
don't mind that. It helps me with my class. And also my class experience. And there are things that particularly the worst of this I'm not sure that was totally the best thing. He's supposed to me, I would just say.
But now I'm going to divide you into 4 larger groups. So amongst your 4, you're going to become 9. So you all are my number 1, and that doesn't mean 1 is better than 2 or 3 or 4. You 4 are going to form with this 4. Yes, and become my group number 2. You all are going to become my group number 3. And you all are going to become my group number 4. All right, now, in these larger groups, what we would like for you to do now is you're going to discuss as a larger group and come up with a consensus on the thing that you all are struggling with from a management standpoint as a group. And then, now that we have the problem, we are going to work together to then be the solution and to create one classroom ritual management tool as a group that you will then share, not demonstrate, with the room. Do we understand? Yes? Yes. Y'all are brilliant. Y'all are level 2, so y'all know y'all. Okay? So we're going to give you some time to speak as a larger group and now kind of come up with a consensus on the one thing that we as a group really could take back into the classroom tomorrow and implement is boom. Yes, and one ritual. Yes. Okay? So we're going to distill it down. Correct, yes. But it has to be as a consensus. And now, as a group, if you all want to sit down, if you want to relax, you can take that moment now. You don't have to be on your feet if you don't want to.
So our group did, we were talking about more management around our group, and it was like inappropriate noise.
Sorry, one other interruption, and if you need Sharpies, we have markers and things of that as well.
I'm sorry. Yeah, totally fine. I'm speaking for me personally, I know, but still, it is. You're not recording that?
I was saying there's this I mean, it's kind of not
right.
Break down the steps, he wants it written in code. Yeah, so you're expecting it to be done.
Yeah, I have.
It shows the whole process. Starting class, so I guess another structure. There's a lot of structure to this structure. But engagement, like engagement is something that
They don't want to do it.
for me, it was a task flag like that. It can be engaged with how you engage in that. Even if it's just doing the work, has it been written out so they know can they just follow the steps?
There's so much, it's like a top-down management thing, and it's also like I deal with it. It's like, I feel like it's, we could, but I do wish they didn't exist. Correct. I mean, I'll be honest, it's just, it's something that like, what's on your mind?
I wanted to share one other grouping theme that you brought up. Is like, what happens when you have a bunch of kids who are engaged and then one kid shutting down? And then you're again one person. How are you supporting the kids who need to be like pushed? And then how are you also supporting that one kid who's like, I feel like the triggers. Yeah.
Like, it's been like going on with you, and then like I like had nervous stuff, and then this was about like it's a small group. So
that's what we're supposed to get to the solution.
Yeah, I think like y'all get prepared to get that we're doing. Here we go.
You were saying just basically staff.
So that was not super structured. More task analysis. What are the basic steps? And break down the steps, but also, like you said, student choice. So if you break down the steps, well, what do you want to do about what your choice is?
So school aides have to get those back out. But the pouches I've heard were great, we just didn't make that choice in school.
Cell phones that I just thought of that didn't occur to me. So I teach in acting class, but I also teach in ICT class, one class a day, and I find the cell phones are more disruptive in the ICT class than in the acting class. I was like, well, why? And I realized in my acting class, the kids come in and have to put their bags on a back table, and so if they have their cell phones in the pocket, I'm like, put your cell phone in your bag. And the cell phones don't become an issue because they don't have it.
Yeah, sitting down classrooms is much.
And so like, yeah, they just like, they're there. So I don't know if that's a routine or something.
Yep, putting put down. I mean, I don't, I think it's contentious. Like if you've got the population that's gonna like go hard for their phone, most kids. We're instructed to take a photo of a student, but I am not going to get that right. It's not gonna do it. No. If they won't put it away, then I'll call admin or whatever, and then I just have to deal out of it. But yeah.
Well, if they may, it'd be great, right? But now the struggle is my general ed class is once you hand them a script, everything they do in the groups is great, basic improv, but then wait, you have to read? That's
What I'm hearing people say so far is that giving students clear role and agency is maybe a tool that can help with maintain focus. I agree with that, or there's a lot of things to
tool is just like put this right here. So distracted by the camera.
And sometimes they might get a piece of candy or something.
From a time management standpoint, hopefully you are one of the partners who are focused more on the solution.
But it also means if I let them pick their groups, like all of the higher degree kids might be in one group, so then I can spend more time with them. While if the other groups are doing more like all of the kids who like are lower, I can like spend more time with them. While the higher degree kids are not distracting them, because they're all in the group over there doing Lord knows what. And it's also because like the more specific you get, whatever the rules or tasks are, it feels all coming together. I work with senior school leader students who've got theory, all the time together, like free breaks or body breaks.
No, that I like. Yeah.
Something that might be a solution to some of this malaise of like we're only getting up for 5 minutes and then you get to sit down.
The thing you're saying though about like, okay, obviously they don't all have the same methods, but maybe, I don't know what your curriculum is in terms of having like, you know, if it's like short play reading or play writing or improvisation or whatever. But if there's some kind of poll or, you know, like let them choose, like we're going to do plays about social media, we're going to do plays about video games, we're going to do plays about sports, we're going to do plays about fashion or whatever, and what's the thing that you choose, and so you're in a group of kids who chose the same thing.
So
And
first of all, my classes are not that big. The biggest is like one-to-one.
Okay.
And then also maybe more.
So I keep that in the punch, so that's, but also, so I have to post the pencils, right? So I don't know.
Sitting with my colleague, I always give pens and then I tell them like give that back to me and then I put it back.
Right. But I right now have not been sticking to that ritual, and I have to like so like they're like
some collateral.
yeah, they're like AirPods something that I need to get back.
Sounds good.
I'm feeling like video projects they get to choose the topic. I don't know if that fixes it, but that's like, if you dropped me into that room, that's what I tried to do. Yeah, that's what
I think the timer is a great thing. I think the idea of student leaders. I have terrible handwriting. I think student leaders, timers,
Like taskmaster, like a taskmaster, right? Like a taskmaster.
manager. So like,
I mean, a checklist.
with a teacher.
Well, and that's the thing, like, when I look at it, I teach 3 different courses. So, like, whatever I come
I
up
could
with,
have
I
not
follow
written
that.
that seed.
And like getting school time at like I mean it works in the I mean that's different when my kids don't have access to my phone. Yeah, I've also done a phone.
You have about a minute and a half.
I use my teacher's choice money for a phone charging station. And I made it myself. Like I just bought like one of those big blocks and I bought all the cords. And it works for me because I don't have a school that has like a phone policy. So I was like, you know what, the kids are always trying to charge their phones into cords anyway. I was like, let me give them that. And the rule is you don't touch your phone. And they don't. They respect that because they love having the access to that charger. And it's in the corner of the room. And I tell them, first come, first serve. Come to class early, you charge it in. Great, helps with attendance. They come in, they charge their phone, they put it away, and they just take it and they leave.
Write that on the board.
It works for me. I don't know if it works for everybody, but it solved a lot of my problems, especially with kids who are addicted to phones. Because they're addicted to other classes, they'll lose their battery in that class, they'll charge it in that. Some schools don't allow that though, so that's okay.
Yeah, my education, like I was saying,
She's almost 2 now, so I was like, let me become be a human again. Yeah, I have a 5-year-old, so it's a little busy at home, but, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, my goodness. It's amazing. Wow. I think if I did that.
Oh yeah, that was important. We're trying to get over to building.
Gonna do what I can do on Royal Campus, like, school
Thank you for the conversations you were having. They were really important. And I loved how engaged you were. Something I'm just going to throw in the ring as we continue this, because it's something I had to confront in my own practice, is the difference between punishment and consequence. So the system is pretty much built up, right? You do this and bad things are going to happen to you. And what I found is that was the tool that worked the least. Right? Because I don't like to be punished. I don't know about you. When I was a kid, I was always ended up mad afterwards. So thinking about where is the rule coming from, and acknowledging the fact that sometimes I do want to hurt them. I know you're not supposed to say that, but it's true. Like sometimes I'm just like, you know, and I need something, a tool to keep me from doing that, right? Because punishment is meant to hurt or create fear. That's all it is. That's its goal. So the further we can stay away from that, the better, because it causes a lot of problems, right? When you try to make somebody afraid or hurt them, their response to you isn't going to be so high. So I'm just going to throw that in the room, and then I'm going to turn it over to Helio. To Neil.
We're going to share out first.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to do this a little unorthodox. So we're actually going to start with group 4.
Hello, everyone. So we have decided that motivation was a problem. So we came up with 4 ideas. A timer with breaks, so they know what to expect. A student leader, stage manager, director being one of them. Student choice, where possible.
Thank you. 4. Bring it over to 2. Oh. Said it was going to be unorthodox.
All right, so our problem was maintaining focus. Like when we give students an activity to do, we tell them, okay, go share with the partner. And then we have to reel them back in. They don't talk about what they were supposed to, and they don't stay on task. So we talked about giving them specific roles, like you're responsible for this, you're responsible for recording, listening, so on and so forth. Student choice, so giving them like different options on how to present what we've asked them to do. And like tangible accountability, so actually giving them something physical to do. As opposed to just chat with your partner about something they're going to talk about lunch or whatever TikTok they're watching. So.
And also give them something that they are reaching for specifically, so they have specific goals that they need to achieve.
Thank you. All right, let's bring it over to 1.
Our problem was we cannot clone ourselves.
So real.
So in situations where you bring kids into groups and some are staying on task, some are not, or having a stage manager of the group with a checklist, maybe they're kids can feel oh, I have to do more work as a stage manager. No, you get power, you get to grade people. So there has to be some sort of incentive with that stage manager. Mixed level groups tend to help. And the more specific the task usually makes it easier for the students to follow and stay on task, the checklist steps and having roles. So also when there's absences and then some students are behind it, some students are ahead, so you feel like you just split yourself into 5 teachers to keep them all on task. If people have specific roles, then they know what they have to do. when you're in scene pairs where people are absent and therefore you're trying to catch this group up, having scene pairs grouped into groups so that they're all responsible for each other, so they are understudying each other, and then the understudy gets to pick what scene they're graded on, or get to pick the best grade, they get extra credit, some incentive for being an understudy and supporting the community. We just also talked about phones, a phone charging station. If you're able to do that, that can help kids not want their phones in their hands. And then when a kid is shutting down and the rest of the kids are working, and then again, how do you split yourself and support the kids who are working? Give the kid who's maybe shutting down a task to evaluate the lesson. I think that came from Melissa Friedman. Do you want to say a bit more about that?
So either if they're really shutting down, today's your day, you're taking a break today, but this is your day for the marking period. Take your day. Or hey, cool, you're not feeling it, tell me how I'm doing. Watch me, tell me how I'm this point you really lost them and you weren't doing great there. Or they're involved, because they're watching you to give you feedback on what you're doing. Or they can be, if you're playing a warm-up game and they're not feeling cool, who was doing the best? Why were they doing the best? And shout, and then if you can tell me why, then you and the person who did the best can get a piece of candy or something. They're very food motivated. But then they get really involved because who's the best? Who's doing that? Oh, these 5 people were all really great. I can't pick. I'm yeah, great, all 5 of you. Let's all shout out. And then they get involved because they're maybe they're shy, or maybe I have a lot of L's who don't like reading. They're oh, I didn't feel like reading that today. And then they get into it a way that's in for them.
Very
cool. Thank you, group number 1. And last but certainly not least, group number 3, please share out with us what you came up with.
We actually, we're all kind of all over the map, but we realize cell phones is probably it's on our minds. So we, where are you? Oh, could you tell me your name again? I'm so sorry.
Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca. Rebecca talked about how in her acting class, when the bags go in the back of the classroom for that class, it's less cell phone stuff versus an ICT class where there are tables, and I also find that to be true. So even just parking belongings or all of that, if you're standing in a circle and you're moving your hands, it's a lot harder to have your phone in there, though it's totally possible. Yeah. But it does make it a little more obvious. And then somebody mentioned that sometimes they swap phones for supplies, is if you need a pencil, park your phone here, a charging station would be a great way to incentivize that or make it a little bit kinder. So we just sort of had that conversation about managing phones. I shared that my school banned them, and they turn them in at the beginning of the day, and it has been the biggest and best management solution we've ever done. So if you can go back to your schools and push for that, it works. It works. Yep. And the pouches, we have lockers that they lock them in. So, anyway.
Hey, Caitlin, can I ask a quick question? Just raise your hand if your school has banned phones. Just curious. About half.
Okay,
all
right. So now that we've come up and we've heard these consensus, I can't necessarily clone myself, but I do have a co-facilitator who is going to come over and enhance and show how we can take this consensus, this activity to the next level.
Very good. So, I've been teaching multilingual learners for many, many years, for about 15 years. And that's an add-on, amazing challenge for you to become a better teacher. And then to address the needs of all your language learners in your room. So a lot of these things come into play. And I just wanted to ask you in general if you have found any particular challenges or with the language learning population in your classroom. Anybody would like to share? Yes, sir.
With the students we have coming in, they're mainly from Bengali, and they're coming in with languages that are not codified. So they have no base language for us to branch off of for reading or writing or anything like that. So we are literally teaching them their language and teaching them the English language at the same time. And it's very interesting.
Absolutely. But the most important thing that has happened to me in my school, we have Quiche, Quechua, and Spanish and English. And Quiche and Quechua don't have a written form, like a formal written form, so it's not part of that. So a different type of, just because of that also, I appreciate it very much, and I actually include a lot of Quiche and Quechua words into what I do to make them feel present. there's this theory called translanguaging, and I will share with you what all this is about. But it's social justice. It's seeing them as people, not as a problem. So, for example, right now we all say congratulations to each other in Quechua. Sometimes I say just hello, just throwing in hello in there to make it present, to make it special. That can make a big difference. Because it's just not, and also understanding that you're not responsible for translating everything in 20 different languages if you need to, right? Because translating what if the language doesn't have a written form? So so it's about making it present in your room. It's about seeing them as people and then helping them out, and then also understanding that as a language learner, there is a process. It's going to take you 5 years to write an essay. It's going to take you at least 2 years to be able to feel comfortable expressing yourself. So there's a lot of, so what ways can we find for them to show their level of proficiency in what it is that you are teaching, right? In what it is that you are measuring and assessing and the data that you're gathering. And how can you do that? That's a beautiful thing of theater. Because as an English teacher, it's really hard, right? Because I have to have them write an essay, but we have the beautiful power of theater. And in so many ways, we can make that possible. So any other challenges, anything else in particular that also, make my, yes?
For me, I don't know if people experience the same thing, but there's like a social element to it too, because we have, I will often end up with a class that is almost all English speakers and like one L. And that person always feels I think isolated, and whatever I can do to draw them in, especially for their academic classes, they're often together, right? The L's kind of travel together throughout their day, but then in the arts, sometimes they get split up. And so you have, it's just they disengage because they're not with their friends, and there's a language barrier, and so there's just a lot of things going on that are preventing this person from engaging in what we're doing.
Absolutely, and I can share the experience because I am a language learner myself. I came when I was 18, and I was put right in a theater program with only English-speaking people. I was the only person that didn't speak English, and it was so scary, right? And one of the things is when the teacher spoke to me, I was so scared. I would not look at him in the eye. That is such an American thing, right? To be like, hi, how can I, sure, what do you need me to do? I can do it. That is so scary, and that is so culturally specific to the United States that for a lot of us coming from other countries, no, you're quiet, you're supposed to be a student, you're quiet, you look at the floor, you are respectful.
Right.
So a lot of times I have misjudged sometimes the engagement part of it with that cultural awareness of what happens. I always remember also the example from a friend of mine from South Korea, that he's when people open the door for me, it's so embarrassing. That all I can do is I don't want to look into your eye because I can't believe you're doing this for me. I didn't ask you to do this for me. Why are you doing this for me? I want to get out of here and run. And then people are like, oh, you think you're entitled for me to open the door for you? Why didn't you say thank you? So a total stranger is doing something for me. I'm gonna look at her in the eye and be like, thank you. That's a lot. That's a lot. So understanding all these cultural differences in our classrooms also super important, and make them feel welcome, and little by little just trust that the art that you're doing is going to support them and help them, and their needs many times are way beyond the ability to make a tableau. So also I believe that the conversations that you have with your social workers, with your counselors, with all these people, so you understand them better, it means the world. But I hope that you don't see it as a problem, and you really feel it as something special in your classroom. Yes.
I sometimes have the issue, all of my students, by the way, are L's. That's my school. That's our population. But what I deal with sometimes is we'll have a lesson, I think it's going really well, and then when I give the assignment, they do something else. And I think, did you not understand me, or are you choosing to
Not
do...
right. Yes, because that's the thing. Are you being an asshole, or
Yeah.
am I not a good teacher? What is the line is so blurred, right? So what I always say, yes, so what I always say, and what I always help, like we were talking about the fact that, when we were talking about, I wish that you could clone yourself and go into different places. For me, what has worked the best is the fish bowling.
Yeah.
So if we are going to have an activity where everybody has roles, let's have a circle and let's look at one group doing the activity first. Now that they did it, okay, now let's see 2 groups doing it at the same time. And I know it takes more time, but there is a lot of these skills of like talking to each other, turning and talking, doing all these things that we don't do in our schools. Because in a lot of places in the world, especially in Latin America, you sit down, you are told information, you repeat it. If you repeat it well, you're a wonderful student. This whole idea of like, give me your ideas, tell me what you, are you, I love the United States and then teachers when the kids don't agree with them, so you can have a conversation, and how exciting that is. That you have a different point of view about, the intentions of Macbeth, right? We don't do that. We are waiting for the teacher to tell us what is the point of view of Macbeth, so we can write it, memorize it, and then repeat it back to you. So that's the good thing about modeling too. When everybody's modeling, everybody's doing their thing, and if you allow them to like speak on their own language or figure it out, and also when you're having interactions between kids, script it like a play. It's really powerful because the kids will know what to say. The 5th time that you do it, it will be magical. So the power of modeling is something that I think will be helpful.
Yes. Point out, I love that you do it in a circle rather than frontal, because every culture knows frontal is performance.
Yes.
So if you did exactly what he said, but you did it at the front of the room and everybody sits down and watches, that's performance mode, and you can tell them it's not, but they know it is. In the circle, it's play. So I love that I just wanted to point that out. That's great.
Can I ask you what you meant by script the conversation?
Right, so for example, if we want to talk about, what do you think this picture shows, right? So you actually write it and you put it in different colors for the 2 people. So one person says, hello, the other person says, hi, good morning. And what is this? What do you think about this picture? I think this picture is blah. Why do you think that? Oh, I think that because of blah, blah, blah. And then afterwards, you can script also when they share with the group, and you can say, my friend, blah, 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 thinks that the picture is blah because of blah. And then all of these kids, especially for the kids that just arrived in the country, you put it up there, and then everybody has something to hold on to, which is it helps with the classroom management, because if you're totally lost, you don't understand what you're doing, forget it, you're out. we do that too, right? Yeah.
All right, so we already were talking about a circle, and that's actually how we're going to end. So if we can all stand up and make a giant circle around the room, and of course I'm going to give you a beat. Thank you.
Try and come back to stuff.
All right, so we're going to circle up, and this goes for my friend that was talking about the closing ritual. So as you can see, my ritual is music. So we started with music and we end with music. Music, for me as an educator, it is like my saving grace, because it is like the thing that gives me my superpower. And once I'm empowered, then I can at least do what I can to try to push some power if I have to into students. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the room, and in order for everyone, again talking about sharing the mic, we would like for everyone to just basically give a 1 word or a brief, what resonated, what stuck out with you, what's something that you're taking away. I will start it over here. Possibility project. Go, and then we'll go around this way.
Well, it was very recently. We formed a circle, and
there we go. Now you have the room.
Forming a circle itself, this just struck me as it's like I don't know. It opens you up to finding your tribe.
For me, it's the hearing and listening difference that we were discussing earlier.
Your movement. I've taken it.
Commonalities and challenges.
Accountability.
Modeling for else. We're all in this together.
Routine.
Keeping focus.
Structures. Having patience.
Also modeling for else.
Community.
People, not problems.
Leadership role.
Fishbowl.
I enjoyed the dichotomy between either the kid's an asshole or you're a bad teacher.
Modeling.
Management.
Understudy.
The joy of being with other leaders.
Same. The joy of being with educators.
I love trusting your tribe, reaching out when you need to.
The use of timers for breaks and incorporating breaks more.
Community and modeling. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
That's great. Any order, it's good, it's good. Mine is, thank you for holding the door for me.
Violence.
I will express in a sound. Oh!
Oh, modeling and community.
Consistency.
Letting go of shame when you feel like it's not working. It's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to do, and we're all trying our best.
My problems are the problems everyone has.
Yes. Yeah. Clarity, consistency, community.
Knowing what they need and giving it to them.
Community. You can't do it alone, but we can.
Student choice.
Shared experiences and challenges.
I'd say enjoy being with fellow educators and learning.
Scripted conversations.
Community.
Clear expectations and roles.
All right, so last thing, and this one was just brought up in the moment, we can all just kind of bring it in and bring these educator vibes and all that we've taken in as a group, share it, pick up some of that energy, take it back with you. You will definitely need it in the weeks to come. And we're gonna throw it all up. There we go, and then celebrate yourselves. If you want to take pictures of the other group things, there's space for that. And we have like a few minutes if you want to just converse before your next session. Feel free to do so. We thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.